So throughout this interview today, which has been really interesting, you've imbued your answers with always some practical business advice. And in fact, you know, if I understand from your bio, you actually sat on the European board of Cisco. You've always had a proverbial seat at the business table. Your title Chief of Staff reflects a business focus for your role, not just a pure legal focus. And we've talked about that at the last couple of ACC Europe annual events. How did you find your voice? You know, there's so many in-house lawyers out there looking for a way to get that seat at the table from a business perspective. How were you able to find your voice to get that seat?
I think it's mostly through being proactively getting yourself involved and expressing an interest and expressing an opinion, right? And you know, how do you get involved in these things? Because you see things happening and you comment on it and you have an opinion and you talk about it, right? And you know, when our new GC started, well, it's like 4 or 5 years ago now, we talked about things that were, you know, what my view was on the department, and I said, well, we should do more with technology. We should look at these processes, and that wasn't not with the intent of like, okay, I'm the one going to do that, but that's what ultimately he said after a couple of discussions. Said, I want you to take the lead on this, and that's often how these things go, right? You put your hand up and say, look, you know, I think we can do this differently. And that's how I've seen also in other parts of the organization is if you look at the teams that I've managed and worked with, the ones who are successful and who progress and move up the ranks are the people who say, you know what, I'll do it, right? I see a problem, I'll fix it. Or there is an executive, you know, that somebody needs to talk to, I'll do it. And sometimes you have to be willing to go in the deep end, right? You don't always know what you're getting into. And this is, for some lawyers, this doesn't come natural, right? Because lawyers tend to be risk averse. They want to get the lay of the land. They want to know exactly what's going on. But I think, you know, the people who are willing to stick their head out and say, look, you know, I think I can do this, right? And then as a manager, you need to make sure that they have backing and, you know, you're there to help them and support them if they struggle, but most of the times they're fine.
Yeah, it seems like that confidence has to come with that curiosity that you mentioned earlier, where you're engaging with business people to understand the guts, so that when you do speak up, you do with some authority.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic.